Right, go get my notes because there's a lot of guff in here I've got to get through tonight.
Yeah, some gold nuggets in there, I hear.
We'll see. Find it. Page of notes.
There you go.
Don't want to give too much away.
No, wouldn't want you to either.
Shall we go?
Let's do it.
Go.
Go.
Episode 5, we are back. Skip the Beat, a podcast loosely based on music. Thank you for tuning in yet again. Really do appreciate you giving us your time. I'm here with Wallace. How you doing?
Very well. Good to be back.
Good to be back. Weekly podcast. I'm going to keep making that joke, but here we are, 5th week in a row.
Here we are. We forgot to mention last week these fancy new podcasting chairs that we were in. It's almost like we're real podcasters.
Real podcasters.
Special podcasting lounges.
In episode 2, we had a little test. They were
We did.
slightly different colour. I thought I loved them enough that I might get a couple.
And you did do.
Must be nice. Start a podcast, get some chairs.
Yeah.
They're comfy. It is better than the couch. And
It
also
is.
saves my back from moving that couch all of about 4.5 metres.
Better height for my short legs. Very comfortable. Thank you so much for this edition.
more
Much
than welcome.
appreciated.
How have you been? What's been happening the last week?
Well, I've had a pretty good week. We'll get to something musical I did a bit later, but the most exciting thing I did in the last 7 days was on Saturday night. I went to the last night of the Olympic trials for the Australian swimming team.
Out at Chandler?
Yes, out at the Brisbane Aquatic Centre at Chandler. And so I got to see some superstars in action. We had, I think, 5 or 6 events we saw finals for that night. And then at the end of it all, we saw Anna Mears present the entire swim team with their boarding passes to Paris.
How many days to go until Paris?
About 6 weeks, I think they were saying, 41 days.
Under 50.
So now, down to under 40 now, I think.
Well, they lit something to do with the Eiffel Tower and the big Olympic thing went up. I think that was 50 days to go. And that was, over a week ago? So.
Yeah, it would have been. It was 41 days on Saturday, I believe. So, yeah.
Here's the thing about the Olympics, where they're anywhere in Europe, is I really struggle with the time difference. Because unless you're a night owl or you go to bed so incredibly early, you're just never going to catch any of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you remember London 2012, I think it was in London.
Yep.
I remember being pretty dedicated, getting up at like 4 a.m. in the morning to catch the swimming
finals. Yep.
And from memory, I think that was one of the worst years we ever had in the pool.
It was.
Didn't win anything. And I'm just like, I'm getting up morning after morning. Come on. It's another bronze. Yeah. No, we're not on the podium. And I do remember, going off topic so quickly in the pod, getting up one morning and getting a glass of water, sitting on the couch outside our room to watch the swimming finals, knocking the glass over, it shattering into a million pieces. And I was like, I can't be stuffed. So I just continued watching the rest of the morning because I knew I wasn't getting off the couch. This is pre-kids and I had to clean it up later. No, great content.
I like how you just ragged people for winning a bronze medal at the Olympic Games. What a disappointment you are to the nation. It's just a terrible disappointment.
Let me just note this down next week. Apologies in episode 6.
Yes. Apologies to any former and current and future Olympians.
Which is weird for me to say that because I've always had that weird thing that if I was at an Olympic level, that I would love one of each. And it's like,
yes, you have had that
which
thing.
Some people reckon that's the dumbest thing. I'm like, I don't know why. I just want.
I clearly recall conversations where you're saying you wouldn't want 3 gold medals. No. You'd rather one of each.
So surely I would have to do it in the order of I'd have to get I'd always have to get better. So the bronze comes in, I'm stoked. Then I get the silver. Then I bring home the bacon with the gold.
Yeah. It's a really well thought through opinion for someone who has never had a sparrow's chance of making it to the Olympics.
Someone whose sporting ability is we don't even need to go into it.
I saw so many Olympic legends on Saturday night. Dawnie Fraser was there.
Okay.
In a hilarious. All these Olympic legends were there all dressed up. Dawn Fraser rocks up in jeans and a grey hoodie. Of
course she does.
Just a legend. What a
Yep.
total legend. Liesl Jones was there. Gian Rooney, of course, commentating. A few more recent Olympians. And then Anna Mears, of course, giving out the boarding passes. My biggest cycling icon of all time. So
that was the moment of the night for you?
that was a bit of a thrill. Well, the big moment of the night was seeing Kate Campbell not make the Olympic team. She was going for a record-breaking 5th Olympics in the 50-metre freestyle, finished 6th in the final, and it was not a dry eye in the house. All the swimmers from that race went over into her lane and had sort of a big moment with her in the pool, all crying. It was incredibly emotional. And then seeing Gian Rooney do the poolside interview afterwards. They've, of course, swam together for decades.
So so Kate Campbell, is she either 40 or did she have her first Olympics when she was 10?
She's 32, so her first Olympics was at 16.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's 2008? 8, 12, 16,
16
20,
years
24.
ago. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, did Bronte make an appearance?
Bronte made the team.
She made the
So
team.
that will be Bronte's 4th Olympics.
Okay.
So the Campbells will have been to a total of 8 Olympics between them, which is astonishing.
Highlight of your week.
It was great. It was
Well
great.
done.
It was really fun. I'd never been to an international sort of level swim meet before, and it was a super fun night. So that was my week. What about you? What's happened in your week?
Well, I am going to come nowhere close to that. My week highlight was it was Jen's birthday on Friday, so celebrated that by taking her out to dinner. My lovely mum was able to come round once we got the kids to bed. They were asleep. They didn't know she was coming round. Got them to sleep super early, successful. Mum came round, went down, had our favourite Thai for dinner. The Thai restaurant just happens to be 250 metres from my house.
Beautiful.
And so went down there, enjoyed a nice dinner, nice night. So, yeah, happy birthday, Jen. And then weekend it was one of those weekends where it just consistently consists of things you do with or for your kids. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Sunday was in the morning, we tag teamed. I had to take Asher to a birthday party. Mm-hmm. Came home, swapped. Afternoon, Jen had to take Abby to another birthday party. And she's like, there goes the day for us to do anything because the morning and the afternoon's taken. Then you've got all the lovely things you want to hear about on the pod, like grocery shopping and just doing all those type of things. So
Brilliant.
nowhere near as exciting as yours. A few little things exciting in the music world, but we'll get to that when we
will get to
touch
that.
base on that. So,
Kids' birthday parties. There's nothing quite like it, is there?
mate. Yeah. And
Brilliant.
I find it funny that all the parents say the same thing. It's like that parent joke. You're like, another party. Yuck. Here we are again. Yuck. Guess we'll be doing it next year. Yuck. The whole class is here.
Oh, gosh. I'm
So-
so glad that's not my life.
Yeah, and it's 2 hours. It's just,
Yeah, you just sit there.
yep, just watching them on a bouncy castle and cutting cake and whacking it. The pinata was actually quite fun to watch because just trying to watch all these parents trying to get their kids to not stand directly behind or close to someone whacking this. It was quite
With a
good.
weapon.
No, I'm amazed no one got.
Wielding
I mean,
a
I'm glad
weapon.
no one got hurt, but it would have made for some pretty fun laughs if someone did cop it.
Slightly hoping for a baseball bat to the nads.
And then the lollies just fall and just watched 25 kids. So, yes, that was my week.
Good. Some exciting stuff.
So, music-wise, what have you been up to?
Well, do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I just had a gig that I went to. It had been a couple of weeks since I've been to any live music, so it was great. I went to a little gig at a great little jazz bar in the city in Brisbane here called the Doobop Bar. I've been there for a few times. They always have, in the free section where you can get cocktails and snacks, they always have just wonderful musicians playing on a weekend there. And I've been a few times to do that. But this was a ticketed event, and it was Felicity Urquhart and Josh Cunningham, who is from the Waifs. So Felicity Urquhart is a Australian country singer from. I've known her since the 90s, so I've followed her career for a long, long time. Big debut album she had back in the 90s. And Josh Cunningham, of course, very decorated career with the Waifs. And they, since I think about 2021, have been partners in life and in music. And so they've released 2 albums together, and their most recent album, Birdsong, won a couple of golden guitars at the Tamworth Music Festival. Just brilliant, brilliant folky country vibes, such talented musicians. We were right up the front, tiny venue, just sort of soul to the earth stuff, and yeah, very good one for my heart and soul. And I've gone away and listened to both of the albums they've recorded together. Just brilliant, brilliant songwriting, brilliant musicianship. They had a bass player with them, and then they both, Josh played guitar all night. Felicity played a combination of guitar, banjo. She might have even had a uke at some point. I think there was definitely 3. I can't quite remember, but yeah.
Was the venue packed? Because I've been to the Doobop Bar. It's decent, but it's not it's not like you went to a massive bar.
Yeah, it was definitely sold out, or if not close to. But yeah, it is a small venue. I wouldn't know how many would be down there, whether it would be 150 or not that big. Hard to tell. Sort of everyone, I don't know how they've had it set up when you've been there, but it was all bar tables and stools.
Yes.
And yeah, so very cool. And one of the best vegetarian burgers I've had in my life. So what a night.
There you go.
Spent $45 on a T-shirt I'll probably wear twice, but it was great.
Supporting local Australian artists.
100%. You can always count on me after a bottle of wine to buy your T-shirt if you'll see me coming at a gig. 100%. What about
repping?
That's why I own so much Alta Falls merch. Speaking of, what have you done musically this week, Matt?
Big week of tour planning and gig planning.
Huge week.
Yeah, huge week. Went through hopefully the final order revisions for what are going to be our next hopeful 2 singles. So they're back with our producer to make a few hopefully last minute changes before it goes off to mixing. But the big thing that takes time when you're a self-managed band is we started booking all the things that have to happen for you to be able to go on tour. So we're playing not just Brisbane, but going to Sydney and Melbourne and Adelaide. And Virgin just happened to have this ridiculous sale that was 4 days long. And many thanks to my lovely wife. She was booking flights to go down and see a future niece/nephew. We don't know what yet, but Jen's sister is going to be having a baby in August. So she wanted to book flights to go down then for a long weekend to see and meet. And that was when she came across it and went, oh my gosh, Matt, I just got tickets to Melbourne for like $119. I was thinking, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. So yeah, it was hit Nathaniel up and we booked flights. So yeah, got Sydney booked, our return, got Melbourne booked, our return. Still need to wait for Adelaide, very expensive. But along with that, got accommodation booked in for Sydney and Melbourne, got the van hire done for Sydney and Melbourne. And you think it's all these, like it wouldn't take much, but by the time you go through and want to like make sure that everyone you're going with is available and you've got all their right details and their velocity numbers and like you've double checked that, right, well, we know we're going to have this amount of checked luggage and then we need a van here and we're going to have to get it at that. It's no wonder bands have managers and so, yeah, but I really enjoy doing that. So I really liked the process. And
do you have to hire any gear while you're down there, musical stuff, or
no
venues
gear,
have everything you need?
Basically, all the venues have their front of house, and Sydney definitely has their drum kit. Adelaide definitely have a drum kit. We've just got to confirm Melbourne.
And will Katie take cymbals, or will they have them as well? Will she take anything?
No, our drummer Katie, will take her snare drum and cymbals.
Okay, brilliant.
Yes, so it's kind of a rule is if they have a house kit, some of them will have a house snare and cymbals, but basically they wouldn't probably be.
Wouldn't be the standard.
Just when you think about how they might get used by certain bands, you're just better to bring your own snare and cymbals is kind of the go. So yeah, she'll travel with that, and then with the extra bags we get through Virgin, we'll load her up with a few other things under her name. But yeah, they're good. Virgin upped it from 2 to 3 cases, so you get 4 checked items now.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Very good.
So yes, that was music what I've been doing?
I got a bit of an exciting call up. The other very exciting thing that happened for me musically this week was that
You got a call.
I got a call up from this band that's about to do a tour, and they just booked it all this week. And it turns out I might be doing some roadie duties for Alta Falls on their Australian tour. Bit of merch selling, bit of driving vans, bit of carrying a box or two, perhaps. I said yes before I knew actually what I would be doing. Anything you need to fill me in on for my debut role as roadie
and merch girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think the biggest things are last year we learned a lot, and the biggest things that added stress were around merch and around when you get to a venue and you pull the van up and you unload, and then you've only got a certain. It's amazing how quick, from the gigs we've done, how long it actually takes to get in, get set up, get everything done with the sound person, get sound checks happening, knowing that you have to be done by a certain time if you want to be respectful to your support acts and things. So last year, for example, it took me in Sydney. Traffic was a nightmare being in the afternoon on a Friday. It took me about 45 minutes to find a park. And I ended up finding one about 5 minutes from the venue. But because of the van height, this is great content, couldn't get under any car parks or anything like that. So that was just 45, 50 minutes I lost. By the time I got back, they were like waiting, things were like, and then I had to I don't like being rushed. Like I like to have my setup properly and know what I'm doing. So it was just a bit of a...
So that really annoying job, Matt's like, who can we get to do that this year instead?
I wonder who...
What idiot would say yes to that?
Yeah, and I rang this certain person and said, look, I got this really exciting opportunity.
We'll pay you in exposure. You might get other roadie gigs from it if you do it for us.
We've got this bar. Look, can't pay you, but look, we'll feed you in burgers, and the exposure you're going to get is just amazing. There's going to be at least 23 people eating there that night.
This could be where my roadie dream really kicks off.
It takes off.
So yes, who knows who's going to approach me next?
Our party of 4 is going to be a party of 5.
Brilliant, with 2 Katies.
Yeah,
Katie's only. If you're a woman,
Nathaniel said we need to work out if there's a way we can just quickly, like when we're saying, "Hoi, Katie," or "Hey, Kate," or something.
Just call me Wallace. We can just tell him, just call me Wallace.
Exactly what I said. I said we just need to call her Wallace.
Yeah, too easy.
So coming on the road.
Down with that. Super excited. So that's sort of all
super grateful.
Second half of the year starting to get a bit loaded with some pretty fun stuff. So so it was a bumper week for me musically. First call up as a roadie, great gig at the Doobop. Fantastic.
I know. I can't wait to hear your review on it when it happens. Now, while we're talking about good things, we're going to move to Music Pun of the Week, which seems to be really taking off. There's been a lot of feedback, both positive and negative. Look, it doesn't matter what type of media you get.
Yeah, any press is good press, hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I thought I was playing around a little bit this week, and I've got a little bit of an addition to add to the little intro. When we first put that's a strong term. When I first put the sound together, it was kind of a short, consistent, maybe 4-second sound.
Yeah.
Where the original was about 7 seconds, and I thought we really need to. I think it needs to make an appearance. So I want to get your opinion, not just you, but anyone listening and watching, just on whether this is the new intro to Music Pun of the Week.
I think that's the amount that sound alone made me laugh doesn't bode well for you for what's to come.
We'll go back to the original, I think, maybe. No, we'll leave it. Now, also, I need to give this Music Pun of the Week. When I thought about it, I ran it past Jen and got some feedback to shorten it. So I'm going to try my absolute best to keep this short and sweet. A little bit of feedback I've heard is I drag these things out. So let's just...
And this intro alone has been a great example of dragging out Music Pun of the Week.
So, Freddie Mercury, when he was younger and living at home, all he ever wanted to do was get out and sing. But he was such a slob, and his parents were getting fed up, so they had to put this rule in place that he had to clean his room before he ever went out and sang.
Nah.
Nothing at all?
Nah.
Okay.
That might be the worst one yet.
Okay.
Why is that so funny to me?
It's funnier than the joke.
It is. Significantly.
I'm not happy with it, but I had to do something. But, we all got areas of improvement we can work on. That's one for me.
I think we've had plenty of people that are really on board with music pun of the week.
And plenty that aren't.
Yeah, and me not being on board with it just shows that there's just diversity in the world. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happy with the side of the fence I sit on. You're more than happy with the side of the fence you're sitting on. And
as long as there's no judgment and we just love each other at the end of the day.
That's right. It's a real lesson for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You live your life, I'll live mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then moving on to a thing that I have got something else to add to this next segment as well, because
okay.
there was something I wanted to suggest. You made it very clear last week that, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, that we didn't come up with the phrase, remember that time. We didn't string those words together.
We didn't.
So I was doing a little bit of brainstorming.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I'm going to jump back here a little bit because we've also been talking about what we name our listeners.
Uh-huh.
And Pouchies was out. Mm-hmm. And I think the winning, from a few bits more of the feedback I got over the last week, I think Skippys is it.
Yep, perfect.
I think Skippys, so you're all Skippys. Thanks for listening, Skippys.
We're going to lock that in?
Yep, lock it in.
Brilliant.
So Skippys that's it. Which led me to think there was something I was holding on to with Pouchies. Mm-hmm. And so I want to suggest this. I don't want an answer straight away. Unless you, of course, love it. Now, I don't want to get any feedback from you until it's sat well with you.
Okay.
But what if there was a name change from Remember That Time to From the Pouch?
It's a big reaction I've had. Sounds a bit dirty and I don't know why, but...
Do you know which one was yours?
I think top right.
Was it this one? So if it was like, just think of this. It's all a thing. It's locked in. Okay, it's time for From the Pouch. In you go. You pull out the memory from the pouch.
Pull out the memory from my pouch. I don't know why, but it turns out there's more than just my hate for Pouchies. But I promise I'll let it sit for a bit.
Okay,
before,
this week. You'll let it sit for this week?
From the pouch.
The Skippys can let us know.
if they want us to be drawing memories from our pouches. I don't know why that sounds so dirty.
From the pouch.
Stop saying it.
Now, who's going first? Because we've both got one.
We've both got pouches with stuff in them.
I've got quite a long list from my pouch.
I don't think I'm ready to take something out of my pouch yet,
okay,
so
well,
you might have to go first.
I'll go dig and pull this out.
You'll go dig.
This one comes, and you know this one because the reason I've got this idea is because something else that happened this week is I got a certain call up from someone else.
A frantic last minute call.
Just saying, look, this is, look, look, feel free to say no. I don't know. I don't want to be a pain, but I've got to get this couch, and it's about 20 minutes away, and then I've got to bring it back to mine, and then take an existing couch I've got to Vinny's. Do you reckon you could help? And of course I said yes. But
you said yes because it's the first time I've ever asked you to help me move.
Absolutely. First time. It's not according to this list, no. So my Remember That Time goes back to the very first time you asked me to help you move, which was, I don't have an exact month or date, but it was in 2008, not long after I started working at a hardware and James Hardy reseller. So I was this forklift driver and truck driver.
Yep.
And very generously was able to use the truck to help certain people move. And Katie was like, look, I've got to move out of a townhouse you were renting with your sister.
Yep.
And basically all the furniture that you had was just in your room, wasn't it? It was just your bed. That's all that was to your name.
Yep.
And it had everything else.
That's right.
And so we thought this is going to be easy. You thought, look, I'm ready to go. I reckon now this was a townhouse where there was a spiral staircase.
It was, yep.
And the Remember That Time comes from when you said, it'll be super easy. We'll just pick your double bed. We'll make sure we know it's a double bed. We'll just pick up the bed and the frame and the mattress. We'll just carry it down all in one piece. It should be very easy. Little did we know at that point when I rocked up, just the headboard alone was about 80 kilos. And we made remember the ding we put in the wall, and I was not happy about that.
Yeah.
And so then I got thinking, okay, all the times I've helped Katie move, and now you have done a little bit of a list yourself, and this is not in any particular order.
Yeah.
I've got a few things out, and I think I've missed a few things here, but I've got number 1, out of Oxley in 2008. Number 2, into Chrissy and Brenda's. 3, out of Chrissy and Brenda's. 4, into Mount Monique House. I don't think I moved you out of there. 5, into some other friends' houses in Cinnamon Park. Out of your friends' houses in Cinnamon Park. Into your storage unit. A visit to your storage unit. Out of your storage unit. Into Ashburton Street in Chapel Hill, where you and I stayed in the same house. Mm-hmm. I didn't move you out of there. Into Thorpe Street, which is your grandfather's house.
Yep.
Out of Thorpe Street. Into Darra, where you rented with some more friends. Out of Darra. Into your current log cabin. Sorry, we're up to 14. Into your current log cabin, where there is a video which we might post on socials where you did say, this will be the last time, I promise, you'll ever have to move me. And then 15, the couch last week.
Yeah. And I do think you helped me move up to the Sunshine Coast one time as well.
I can't remember the Majimba move.
Yeah.
But if you've got a better memory than me. But yes, I do it because I love it. But yes, it was a very fun remember that time, I think.
And my remember that time is remember that time I helped you move? Oh, hang on a minute. I've never helped you move. That is not my remember that time. Yeah, so we were thinking, we were looking at it. The first time was definitely the most ridiculous because the bed that I was really sure, we'll just be able to carry the whole thing down this spiral staircase. I actually had bought that bed while I was living there, and the delivery people from Freedom had carried it up and built it in my bedroom. So I had no idea what it took to get that bed up and down that staircase. That was the first time it ever got moved. And then, what was that list then? 16 times?
Yeah.
In less than 10 years, Matthew helped me pack up my entire life, which wasn't a lot of stuff, but it still required a truck. Like it still required Matthew having a job where he had access to a truck.
Or a station wagon with a trailer.
Yes. Or his dirty bandwagon with a trailer.
That's what
did
friends
a few
are
of those
for.
as well.
Good times. There was some laughs. Tell you that.
Oh my
never
goodness.
Never cried, never tears.
No,
never
probably tears from me. No, I don't. Have we ever had a fight? I don't know that we have. Not a proper one.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, because you are just a kind, generous soul. If the roles were reversed, we probably would have had a few fights. I'm not sure.
To get to a serious thing here, I'm going to flash back to when your beautiful Grammy passed away.
Yeah.
And before she passed away, at a particular church service we were at, it was really sweet, but also really sad, where she knew it was going to be her last time there.
Was it not at their house that she said that to you?
No, it was at CUC.
Ah, okay.
And I think, no, it wasn't the last time I saw her, but basically I went up and I knew your Grammy.
Yeah.
And I gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and she said, like, she was giving, I guess, words of wisdom or life advice to kind of everyone she had known. And she said, please make sure you keep taking care of Kato. Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to. So, little Lena flashback.
Yeah, that'll make me cry. Yeah, and he definitely has. And that comes up so often every time Matt does something ridiculous to help me. Thank you, Grandma, for making him do that. I've been served very well by those last words of wisdom for my friend. Very much so.
Is it time to pull your memory from the pouch?
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to pull it from the pouch, but if I had to rummage around a little bit, what I would like to pull from the pouch, oh gosh, I would like you to remember that time our band went on tour in America. And within the first 3 weeks, all had to buy new jeans because we were too fat for our old ones. And I felt it might be it might be a nice opportunity for us to put some context around that time in our lives. There might be a few other remember that times that come from this time, but basically we had a 3-month tour with our band at the time called Remember 7. We had a 3-month tour booked in Canada and America. And our friend Joy, who is Canadian, had bought an old van for us.
GMC.
Yeah, an old van, and we had all our gear in the back of that van. And we might talk about, the food at another time, but as part of this, remember that time. So it was Matt and I, our friend Joy, and our other friend Toby, who was our drummer, and we were on a real budget because of the goal of that band always that we wanted to give most of the money away that we made from selling stuff and any, entrance fees or anything any sort of money we made, our goal was to always give more away and just try and keep a little bit to help us survive.
Well, basically we had those 4 of us
Yeah.
at that point. Was it, we made sure that it was at the minimum was 60% that we raised for the
Exactly.
projects
At
that
least
were in Africa
60% we gave away. Yeah.
So we decided to do this tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we thought, because we were really skint, we thought we're going to go to Costco, we're going to buy food, we're going to just try and be healthy, cook on the way. And I mean, I don't know.
We did. We went to
how many-
Costco.
we definitely went to Costco.
One stop. That's all we did. One stop.
One
it was
stop
somewhere
where we cooked baked beans on the side of the road.
somewhere through the Rockies.
Yeah.
So we left Saskatoon
Yeah.
and drove west.
West, yes.
And was somewhere in the Rockies, and we had the first stop. Well, actually wasn't. It was not the first stop. The first stop was after when we first left Saskatoon, if you remember, and we saw that Chinese buffet and went straight in there, which is part of the reason we had to buy bigger clothes.
Yeah.
But yeah, one stop, and then that food.
We just carried it from location to location to location
until we gave it away.
Until we played at a homeless shelter.
And we thought this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, we gave them a bunch of non-perishable foods.
The biggest donation they'd received probably ever.
An entire half a boot full of food that we had bought. But yeah, basically what we discovered when we were touring was that between the 4 of us, we were absolutely powerless against a buffet.
Oh.
If we saw a sign for a buffet, it didn't matter if it was a mealtime or not. We were stopping to have a crack.
Didn't matter if you were in the middle of Texas, nowhere near fresh water, and I go, oh, fresh prawns. Yeah, I'll have some of them.
Yeah. Matt religiously ate prawns in landlocked states.
Fresh.
Assuming that they would be fresh. And yeah, within a really short amount of time, we just could not fit into any of our clothes anymore.
This is the perfect opportunity to jump into, my favourite dessert. No? Yes?
From that trip?
Just that I love...
like a sticky date pudding?
No, it's not my favourite.
Oh.
So my favourite was... okay, we've got to flash back here a little bit.
Yeah.
So we were in Texas.
Like the key lime pie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So a citrus dessert...
Oh, yeah, okay. Any sort of citrus.
Any type of citrus.
Like a lemon meringue.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I hear you.
My mother-in-law makes an absolute mean, lemon curd.
Just a banger.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
She looks after me.
Yeah.
So we rock up. We were staying with one of Joy's friends. We went and had, but from memory, it was Mexican.
Yep.
And we had this ridiculously large Mexican dinner.
Everything in America is ridiculous.
And then it was, okay, let's go to this dessert bar. And we're like, ooh, okay. But yes. And I remember walking in, you know how you have those memories where you can visualize it so clearly. Like I remember looking down and seeing all the different pies and slices and cakes and whatnot. And there was a key lime pie. And I thought, I have to get a slice of that. And I said, can I please get some key lime pie? And then when it came out, it was the entire pie. And it was a dessert restaurant, not a dessert bar. So buying a slice of this wasn't an option.
Yeah.
It was, and I would say, a pie that you could easily cut into, look, if you were being extremely generous and wanted a massive dessert, at least quarters.
Yeah.
If you were
big.
hungry and wanted a big dessert, you'd have a quarter of it. So I remember probably eating half of it there. Rolling out, taking the other half with me, which was great. But that's the other thing is I don't remember it costing the earth because obviously food there's obviously I probably didn't tip some poor person, but I probably paid
I do remember a lot of people also bought us food.
They did, yes.
So we might not have known.
Oh, that key lime pie. Anyway, there is so many stories we could. But
we'll flash back to a few on that tour. But one of my all-time favourite memories from that tour is the time
going
we
shopping.
literally all had to go and buy new jeans
From we went to that direct factory outlet, also known as a DFO.
Yes, and we all four of us bought a new pair of jeans because we could not button up.
I also
anymore.
bought a bigger shirt, and I also bought those 2 hoodies because it wouldn't go up. There we go.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah,
that's
my remember that time, and that's deep in the pouch, that one. And and there's a few other memories scattered around that one in the pouch that we'll bring those out. Yeah,
well done.
Future weeks.
Remember that time.
I had another little thing. Do you think we've got time for a little thing that I thought?
About 30-ish, 35 minutes? Yeah, I reckon.
I got a little thing. It might not take a lot of time to do this, but basically I was sort of reflecting on the segment that you've tried to do once, and I'm not sure that we succeeded when we did a segment that was the Would You Rather segment.
Oh, the Missy or the Mariah.
Yeah, so we had a bit of an awkward trying to put lots of words around that segment. We didn't quite nail it. We put some thought into it, but didn't quite nail it. And I just thought I wanted, in a similar vein, I'm going to do with you sort of like a rapid fire. I'm going to give you 2 things and you've got to tell me which one you prefer out of the 2 things. And if there's any backstory, you can sort of feel free to, or if you want to know my particular preference.
How long have I got? Have I got like a time limit? Like it's like kind of like within 5 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, just remembering we're making content here,
okay.
so just try. Don't do a Matthew Green and overthink it too much.
Have you come up with a fancy name for this segment?
Well, in my phone I've called it This or That. So there'll be 2 things. One of them's this, one of them's that.
Okay.
You gotta tell me if you prefer this or that.
I'm going to top up my Annie's Lane for if you're watching.
While you're on your Annie's Lane, red wine or white wine?
Red.
All day long?
Yeah, look, I love white wine. I love rosé, but if I had to pick one for the rest of my life, red wine all the way.
Red wine all the way. Beautiful. Mine would be a sparkling white if we're talking wines. But I said red or white, so I guess white.
Okay.
Coke or Pepsi Max? Controversial. Diet Coke or Pepsi Max? Because we got a history here.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke for Matthew.
Yep.
So I'm going to controversially say I've jumped the fence and I'm a Pepsi Max now all the way.
I love Pepsi Max, but no, I'll get you back. I'll come and just open a bottle of Diet Coke in your ear. And just
crack that, buddy.
Yeah. No, Diet Coke all the way.
Matthew and I have a long love affair with Diet Coke and terrible addictions to Diet Coke. And Matthew's actually doing it far better in that realm than I am.
Last time I had a Diet Coke or Pepsi Max?
I don't know. I'm thinking a while ago.
5 days.
Ask me the last time I had one.
When did you have the last one?
2 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I have maybe 1 or 2 a week.
Yeah. So he's doing much better with that addiction. I'm going to try and kick mine later this year.
Sparkling water, mate. You just got to get on it.
I know.
With a bit of lime and lemon.
That's the devil's water, though. I don't know about that. Folk or pop music?
Oh, well, the music I write and listen to is more pop, I guess. I'd have to say pop. When that fails in my life, it'll be folk.
It hurts you. I know. I've always told you should be a folk musician. Folk is mine 90% to 10%. Folk,
obviously.
Folk is Catholic. Definitely mine. Rock or country?
Rock.
Rock's
I love country. Yeah. Absolutely love it, but
rock history is too hard because you've got the Beatles in there.
There's too much.
There's too much. Yeah, I'm going to still stick with country there. Okay, unmusic related, chocolate or lollies?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, me too, for sure. Beef or chicken?
Beef.
Early mornings or late nights?
Oh, late nights.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me to pick too. I think early mornings, except not in winter. Early mornings in every other season because I can get up and go for a bike ride. Speaking of, winter or summer?
Summer.
Me too.
Even though I really like the cold.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I don't know. Summer. We don't have to go into detail. We're keeping this quick. This or that.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
100%. Celine or Whitney?
Celine.
Me too. This is an easy one. Elton or Billy?
it'd have to be Elton.
It's a hard one for you, even though Elton is your ultimate, because it's Billy for me. It's Billy Joel all the way for me for the lyric prowess.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen him live.
Yeah.
And it's killing me.
Yeah, it should be killing you because he's amazing. Paul McCartney or John Lennon?
Oh, gosh. Like, I'm going to have to say Paul McCartney only because I guess he's still alive and I've been able to follow his journey and I know him better.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
Yep.
we have sat on the side of the road and listened to him
We have.
play a show from outside
That
a
could be
stadium.
that's a great, remember that, from the pouch
yes.
too, that whole night
Yeah.
featuring Aussie Dad.
Beautiful. And the very last question in this or that for tonight is Katie Wallace or Nathaniel Hubbard?
Oh.
No, you don't have to answer that.
I will.
Okay.
No, I don't know how to answer it properly. I was going to make a joke being like, for getting shit done quickly, Katie Wallace.
For getting shit done well, Nathaniel Hubbard. There we have it.
I don't know.
There we have it, folks. That was this or that.
Well done. Well done. Now, I've also got some. We've got a little bit of time. We're about 40 minutes-ish. This one should take really quick because I want to...
This one should take really quick.
That's great English. This shouldn't take long. Mm-hmm. You know how we've spoken about and joked... We're on? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to look on the whiteboard. I didn't know what this segment was.
You know how we've always joked about, oh, that's a gap in knowledge. When it's been like, okay, well, there's little things that we've mentioned and been like, how did you not know that? Like, the world knows that.
Yep.
But
So it's very important that the Skippys understand what a gap in knowledge is.
I'm trying to give an example without giving one of them away. Like,
I can give one away that's not one of ours.
Okay.
That's a friend of mine.
Yep.
So a gap in knowledge has to be something, and I think a gap in knowledge came from my sister Annie. I think that's where the concept started. A gap in knowledge is something that everyone in the world knows, and it's not that they know it because they're smart. So it's not like a trivia thing. It's just that it could be as simple as a traffic light turns red when you have to stop. It's just something that, generically speaking, most people know that, and somehow you've made it through life and you just don't know that. There's just this gap. So it doesn't mean you're dumb. A gap in knowledge is a hilarious thing to us because it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that amazingly
how
you've
have you gone
missed
through
something.
life without knowing
Yeah.
that?
One of my friends, one of the smartest people that I know, double degree at university, just knows so many things, didn't know well into her adulthood that Great Britain wasn't connected to Europe. Just that's an example of a gap in knowledge.
Yeah, perfect example of a gap in knowledge.
Yeah, just something that most people have absorbed, but for whatever reason, knew that the English Channel existed, knew all of these things, but just hadn't connected that bit of land wasn't connected to mainland Europe. So that's an example. So you've thought of one this week, have you? Or you've had a brand new one pop up.
Had a brand new one pop up.
And I don't know what this is, and I'm thrilled.
You are going to cack yourself.
Very excited.
Talking with Jen.
Yep.
We will.
What if it's my gap in knowledge too?
Could be.
Imagine if we both had it.
So, I've always referred to, I don't know how to say this in the right order. I've always referred to peacocks as, that would be a male peacock and that would be a female peacock. I've always known that the male peacocks are the ones that bring out the beautiful feathers, ladies, this is me. And what I thought was a female peacock was the brown, dull, boring peacocks. But they're not called a peacock. Peacocks are called peryfowls, and the male is a peacock, and the female is a peahen. And the female is not a peacock in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, I think I have the same one, but I'm not sure that that's a gap in knowledge because I think most people would think they're both called peacocks.
I don't know. I just thought, to Jen, it was a massive gap in knowledge.
Oh, that it was called a peahen.
She came up and she said, but no, that's a peahen. I'm like, I thought she was taking the piss. I was like, what the fuck's a peahen? And no. Then I was like, oh, you're being serious. No, I just would have always been like, that's a female peacock and that's a male peacock. She's like, definitely. Well, no. She goes, that's like calling it like it's like a ram and a ewe.
Yeah. I definitely have heard of peahens. I don't think I knew that you couldn't refer to a female peacock as
There
a
you go.
peacock.
Apparently you can. It's fall under it's peri fowl, and that's you've got a
wonder
couple
if
of peri
that's a
fowls.
gap in
You've got a
knowledge.
peacock and a peri hen.
I think we need the
peahen.
Skippys. I think the Skippys need to let us know how many of them knew that. Because if a
Yeah.
bunch of other people didn't know
It's not
that,
a gap in knowledge.
it's not a gap in knowledge.
No.
So we might be saved by the Skippys.
We could be. Let us know. We'll
I
put a
really
poll
hope
up.
we're saved.
We'll put a
'cause
poll up.
I don't want to have another gap in knowledge. Matt's got a few really hilarious gaps in
I do.
knowledge.
We need to save them, though, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely, we're going to
Yeah.
save them because I think we're going to maybe turn that into a segment
We
called
should,
Skipped
yes.
Knowledge, aren't we?
Skipped knowledge, I
something.
think.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought one of a friend. I won't say their name just to keep them anonymous because
Yeah.
it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
But didn't know that a funeral car was called a hearse. Always just called
Yeah.
it a funeral car.
Yeah,
Did not know that it was called a hearse.
yeah.
Like that's surely a gap in knowledge, right?
Yeah,
Everyone knows
I
that's
would
a hearse.
think a hearse would be.
Just
yeah.
always their entire up until into adult life called it a funeral car.
Yeah. I wonder if it's different in different states, but to me that's...
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I would say that's one. Yeah.
I won't embarrass them.
I might, but...
Yeah.
Nah.
You're going on tour with them later. Not me. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
We're wrapped.
Have you got anything exciting coming up this week?
Oh well, we're going to a
We
gig
do?
Sunday night.
We
We're off
are?
to the zoo. Or did you? I don't know if you saw, but on the post that Katie Noonan did, she said, "I'm playing the zoo. It's going to be one of the last gigs there." I liked it and commented, saying, "Looking forward to it. I'll be there." And she liked it.
Oh, did she? That must mean you're quite famous.
Must be. Katie Noonan liked my post.
I've got a gig Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night.
Oh, so Normal
bumper,
Wallace has resumed.
bumper weekend coming up for me.
So who are you seeing?
Friday night, I'm going to a bunch of students from one of our local performing arts schools. My second cousin, my cousin's daughter, is performing a bunch of sort of big rock hits they're doing. Saturday night, I'm going to some stand-up comedy at the Powerhouse.
Nice.
Zoe Coombs-Marr, and then Sunday night at the zoo. So I am absolutely pumped for my weekend.
Well, we're going to have a big, we'll have to make sure on the whiteboard next week that what have you done musically?
Yeah, we
Or in the
allow some
arts.
time.
It's got some time for reviews
Yeah.
there. Oh, one thing I
Oh,
did forget.
speaking of, yes.
I've got to give you a challenge.
Yes, you
I've got to
do.
give you an album to listen to.
You
My
do.
goodness, I'm so
Gosh,
glad
how
we
am I
didn't-
going to fit that into my week? But
Oh,
yes.
you're going to have to.
I
It's a kind of a long album too.
Okay.
There's 16 tracks on this album.
I ain't got nothing but time.
And I wanted to make sure it was an album that wasn't female folk. Because I know that's where you've probably
Well, I
listened to
can give
every
you my
album.
review already. I hate it.
Female folk.
If it's not female
listen.
folk, I hate it.
No, this is actually called alternative folk.
Oh, beautiful.
You know the band? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you've ever seen them. I missed out on seeing them last week, and I was listening to their latest album, which was released last year. But your challenge for this week is I want you to listen to an album by the Paper Kites.
Beautiful.
Called At the Roadhouse.
Okay.
16 tracks. I
How old's the album?
released 2023. So a
Okay,
year
so
ago.
new.
So
So
fairly
their-
new.
their most recent
It's their most
album?
recent album.
Okay.
It is, I know, I'm not going to tell you what I think. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't want to ruin anything. I just want you to listen to
I
it.
told you what I thought of Billy before you reviewed it, but that's fine. You
That's
don't have
okay.
to.
I make my own rules.
Your segment. That's fine. So what's it called? Roadhouse something?
I will send it to you. It's called At the Roadhouse. Sorry, it's called, I should know this. Yeah, At the Roadhouse.
At the Roadhouse. I'm sure
By
I'll
the
find it
Paper Kite.
as their most recent release on Spotify.
Alternative folk, released 2023.
I love alt folk. If I can't have straight folk, I'll take alt folk. So very
There
happy
you go.
with that.
So I look forward to hearing your review. You'll just got to listen to it before Friday, basically.
Yeah. Excellent. Sounds good.
Perfect.
I'm flying to Mackay on Wednesday for work, so I might have a listen in the plane.
Download it.
Perfect.
Oh, you get Wi-Fi on the plane these days? Great
Dunno.
content. That's a wrap from us. Thank you, everyone, for giving us your ears yet again. Episode 5. Normally, we're releasing these on a Thursday afternoon, wherever you are in the world. So, yeah, make sure you follow us on the socials. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is where we're at. And if you're on YouTube, we'd love you to subscribe to our channel there as well. And, yeah, make sure you give us some comments and drop us your feedback. And if you're even feeling extra nice, leave us a review on one of the podcast channels. We would appreciate it, only if it's a 5. But I think that's it from us, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you.
Ciao.